Welcome to Explain America. I'm your host, Kyle Becker. Well, there's been a tragedy in Minnesota, and a lot of people have been injured or lost their lives. And CNN, well, their commentary on this is only adding fuel to the fire because it is absolutely heartless, and it's a good example of why CNN, well, their ratings are in the toilet for a good reason. But before we get into this, please like, share, and comment Explain America. Join us. We appreciate your support for common sense journalism. Now, CNN's Dana Bash had Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar on to discuss the tragedy at the Annunciation Catholic School, where two children, they lost their lives, 14 were injured, 3 adults were injured also, in addition to that. And it's absolutely heartbreaking to see what happened there. And if you look at the faces of these children who were caught in the fray at that school, then you really have to think, wow, who would do such a horrible, evil thing? Well, it turns out that this person, who has been going by the name Robin Westman, left behind what appears to be a manifesto of sorts. If you look at that manifesto, and I'm not going to show it here or get into this, but you can see a lot of very strong comments, some of it about Donald Trump, some of it about, targeting certain people. And it looks obviously that Christians and children were singled out for this sort of equity that this person believed that they needed to get. Well, CNN's Dana Bash, who is, well, one of the densest propagandists on TV, she made a remark to Klobuchar that is absolutely outrageous. It's one of the most insensitive and heartless remarks I've ever seen in the mainstream media, and that's really saying something. But honestly, I think Dana Bash really showed who she is with this comment, and it's disturbing. Watch.
I mean, he's expressing something that I know you feel and most people feel, which is a combination of sadness, but raw rage. Forget about thoughts and prayers. These kids were literally praying when they were through a church window.
It's unbelievable. And Jacob, the mayor, and his wife Sarah just had a second baby. So I know he knows this just gutturally of how this feels.
Well, if you have any remarks about this story and about the left's reaction to it, what do you think about thoughts and prayers? My personal opinion about this is thoughts and prayers are a way that people get closer to God. They recognize Him, and also it helps them re-edify their conscience and distinguish between good and evil, right? So having a conscience is a way that human beings keep themselves from committing heartless acts, committing evil acts. And when people pray, that is what they're reinforcing in their mind, is their conscience about what is good and what is evil, and about our solidarity and grief with one another. And for someone to cast aspersions about that, to make these kind of remarks, instead blaming all sorts of things like inanimate objects and for violent acts, it doesn't make any sense to a lot of Americans. And it's just another example of why CNN, well, they're obviously out of touch with the American people. So please weigh in with your thoughts on this shocking video. We'd love to hear from you.